What up, guys? So it is a pretty nice day out, kind of windy, but I'm gonna go ahead and wash the car. I haven't washed the car basically since the winter time, so it's just been collecting all kinds of dirt. It's all gross looking, and it is just time to wash it. It looks like there's a glare on it, but that's just all dirt. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash it. I went ahead and got my soap sprayer thing all set up. Looks like a pretty mixed drink that I would love. So much better. So much better. Wow, I forgot how good this thing looked when it was clean. So we've got 5 brand new Otsu FP 7000 tires, and then 1 spare wheel in that white box over there. So we've got 5 wheels. I never thought I would have 5 wheels for this car, honestly, because after I bought the 4, they were just totally gone. And then they came back for a little bit, and now they're gone again. I do want to buy a couple other ones because I keep curbing my wheels. I'm not as careful as I used to be, I guess, so I've got to step it up again. But yeah, happy to have 5 new tires. It cost me $380 for all 5. They are the Otsu FP 7000. They are Falcon Zeeks. It was like $320 something is like the equivalent. Otsu actually made Falcon, or Falcon made Otsu, whatever. I think it was Otsu made Falcon, and then Falcon caught on as a performance tire company, so they kind of ran with their own name. But these tires are actually really good. They've lasted a while, and I've been happy with them. Once they get old, they do hydroplane a lot, and they kind of do some scary things in the wet. But if you don't drive over your head, they're just fine. So they stretch really well, and Big O Tires had no problem putting them on my wheels. So I will be going to them here in the next week or so, we can have some fresh tires on the car for Desert Fest. Here's the new tire, and we've got the Falcon ZE 320 or 329. So you can see that is a Falcon tire, the Zeeks ZE 329, and this is the tread pattern here, and then this is the tread pattern here. Let me put them back to. So we've got that there, and then that there. So that is a confirmation that it is actually a Falcon tire, and yeah, you can trust it. So now what I have to do with the car is just kind of get the gauges all situated in that pod thing that I bought a while ago, clean up the inside. It's not too bad in here, but it would be nice if it was all cleaned up. And yeah, also in the engine bay, let's take a look. So the tune on the car is designed for a motor that uses, instead of like a blow-off valve that vents to the atmosphere, the blow-off valve would be a diverter valve. So every time you let off the gas, the air gets forced out of here and then goes back into the intake tract here. The blow-off valve, I do want to change that into like the recirculation valve. So as you guys know, a while back I did buy this tip that will thread on instead of this little outlet here on the blow-off valve, and it will turn it into like a hose barb piece if you don't drop it. It'll turn it into like a hose fitting. And then I have this little adapter that I went and got at Lowe's. It goes from, I believe, 7/8 to 5/8 or something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and throw the heat gun on this and stretch it out just a little bit so it fits. This thing is a 1 1/8 outlet piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the heat gun, stretch it out to 1 1/8 inch, and then it drops it down to 5/8 inches on this side, and then we can run this 5/8 hose from the outlet of this piece here wrap it around, and then I'm going to go into this, this pipe right here, which is just an inlet pipe that is after the mass airflow sensor. So every time I let off the gas, it'll just let the air back in here, which will get sucked back in, and it'll just kind of circulate in these pipes without charging the charge pipes. Of course, after I clean the car, it would get super windy and almost kind of cold out. So anyway, I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna get the black piece under the heat gun, get it put onto the aluminum adapter piece, and then attach the hose and kind of see how everything is gonna work together. So yeah. Alright, so I got that piece all heated up, and it slid right over, and it actually lined up pretty perfect. There's like a lip on the inside that just caught the lip of the actual adapter piece for the blow-off valve, so it is sealed on there. I don't think I'm going to use any hose clamps because I want it to look pretty clean. It's kind of a weird looking piece, but I think it'll look a lot cleaner without putting gross looking hose clamps on it. So I'm gonna leave it without. If it blows apart, then it blows apart, and I can just fix it. It's no big deal. So yeah, now it's just figuring out how much hose I need to run it back to the inlet of that pipe, and we should be ready to put it on. It should serve its purpose well. The only thing I was kind of worried about is, as you can see, the hole for the 5/8 tube is pretty small, a lot smaller than the inlet of, or not the inlet, but the outlet of what the blow-off valve is currently, and then what this adapter has here. So that will be interesting to note when we're using the car. It will stay in boost longer because of that, since there's not enough boost to be leaving this fast enough. It'll hold boost just that much longer, which in turn will make more choo-choo noises and stall out the turbo just a little bit more. So that's like a downside, but it's also a benefit. It sounds cool, but it's also not good for the turbo. So this could cause a lot of wear on the turbo, but it's also going to make boost faster. Once you're on throttle, off throttle, back on throttle, it'll be back in boost a lot faster than it would be if I was blowing off to the atmosphere. Just all the boost gets bled out of the pipes, and then you've got to remake the boost. You have to step on the gas hard enough to seal the blow-off valve back up, whereas this system, it's already in the charge pipes, then it goes back into the intake pipe that goes to the compressor wheel of the turbo, and everything is all in that closed loop system. So it's a lot more efficient for making boost sooner. So I'm pretty excited for this, actually. So probably tomorrow or the next day, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I will put it on tomorrow, and we will be good to test it out over the weekend and see how the car does. Hopefully it does good. Yeah, anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.